Having amassed a $3 trillion war chest, Chinese firms have gone on a shopping offensive in Europe. Just today, it's been reported that Beijing is on the brink of a multi-billion deal to snap up shares in the UK's nuclear industry. And not even iconic London taxis have been spared the interest of cash-rich businessmen from Beijing, as RT's Boiko reports.
This time last year, it looked like the iconic London cab would be consigned to the history books after its maker, the financially troubled London taxi company, went into administration. Chinese manufacturer Geely, which already owns Volvo, stepped in and bought the company for £11 million. The factory is now back in business.
This part of the assembly process is called the marriage of the carriage, where the shell of the taxi over there meets with the chassis of the taxi over here. But it's the marriage between the Chinese manufacturer Geely and the London taxi company that's managed to save a British icon from going out of production.
Geely's pledged to invest £150 million into the Coventry-based business over the next 5 years, promising to create jobs and develop new engines.
The future, really. Previously, when we were an independent company, we lacked the financial resources to continue to develop the product as we would like to. Now that we're part of Geely, the finances are sorted out by Geely, and it gives us the ability to develop a brand new taxi, which we could have only dreamed of.
Financial analysts have called it a win-win situation. The London cab comes back from the brink of extinction, while a major Chinese manufacturer gets to invest in an exciting new project. But what does it say about the state of British industry?
Business Secretary Vince Cable called the Chinese buyout a clear demonstration of the strength of the British car industry. But the London cab is just the latest in a raft of UK businesses being sold off to foreign companies. Cadbury's chocolate is now American, Jaguar Motors Indian, and the British Airports Authority Spanish. For some, it represents a hollowing out of corporate Britain.
I think I'm happy that it's not gone under, but it shows government policy for a long time now has encouraged foreign companies to take over our British companies. And what that means is that our British companies are not competitive across the globe. So we're not putting in the right tax policies, we're not dealing with regulation that hinders these companies. So it's welcome to have new investment, it always is. In the long term, this takes away economic productivity from this country. It means that staff and jobs are more liable to go because there's an allegiance between the companies that are owned by foreign entities and their country rather than Britain.
Pete has been a cabbie for over 40 years and has seen the London taxi company go through several British owners. I hopped in for a ride and asked him how he feels about turning Chinese.
It is a shame that it's not owned by a British company, but it's better than going to the wall.
A dilemma the companies that are still British hope they won't be faced with anytime soon. Boiko, RT, London.
And let's now have a look at some of China's recent investments. In 2010, a Chinese car maker flush with money decided it would be easier to buy out Sweden's troubled Volvo than compete with it. In January last year, one of Germany's premier concrete pump makers also fell to Beijing's richest. The same month, Italian yacht builder Ferretti was snapped up by a company controlled by the Chinese regime. And in just a few weeks, a French fashion brand, Sonia Rykiel, was taken over by a Hong Kong-based firm in keeping with the East's growing fondness for luxury. And Roger Nightingale, founder of an economic strategy consultancy firm, says many European countries believe Chinese investment poses a threat.
A lot of European countries are very nervous about accepting Chinese cash. Many of them, and I think you find this in southern Europe, you find it in France, you find it to some modest degree in Germany also. Some countries think that they are threatened if China buys into their industrial base. My own view is that that is entirely wrong. My own view is that the industrial base of these countries will fail if you don't get the investment into them that will allow them to raise their productivity and to raise the profile of their products. It's something comparable to that which afflicted the Africans earlier. They think that by selling out their assets, they actually somehow undermine their capacity to have an economy that is viable in the future. I think they're wrong, but time will tell.